Lotus Turbo Challenge 2 is my favorite racing game for the Amiga, and in this video I will tell you why. At the end I will tell you what I wish modern games would do similar to this old game. It was released in 1991, and it received lots of praise from magazines. But check this out. One guy gave it 62%. Seemed good back in its day, but Lotus 2 is strangely lacking in charm when you load it up now. You do a lot better to search for Super Hang-On, or indeed the wonderful Lotus 1. Like, what? Lotus 1 was fine, but it's not better than Lotus 2. Who is this? Stuart Campbell? Look at the bottom of his Wikipedia page. In May 2020, Twitter permanently suspended 2 more of Campbell's Twitter accounts, including his personal one, for violations of the platform's rules against hateful conduct, platform manipulation, and spam. He had to be that kind of a guy, saying bad stuff about Lotus 2. What an absolutely... I am running this game on my Amiga 500 connected to this nice 32-inch CRT TV, and I will be controlling the car with this zip stick. There are some reflections, but I think this looks better than if I use an emulator, and I want to use a real Amiga. Check out how amazing this game starts. The drums, especially with the whisper sound, really gets your attention. Then the most amazing music starts. Followed by a really beautiful picture of a car. Then you get some information about the car and the demo of the gameplay. The menu system is nothing too special, but it has a nice layout of a few options, like if you want automatic gears, if you want to accelerate by pressing the fire button or moving the stick forward. When you start the race, it first greets you with a nice picture and music to get you into the mood of playing that specific track while it's loading. This is great, as it creates the anticipation of what's to come.
Marks! Set! Go!
The first track is in the forest, and as with all of them, you need to get to the nearest checkpoint before time runs out.
Checkpoint!
But if you have not played this since your childhood, you might not be able to complete it the first time. The game is so smooth and fast-paced, but not to the extreme. You usually have a good amount of time to see the turn that's coming up, but the challenge is to get past the other cars. This will change later on, as you will need to memorize the tracks. Each different track has something special to it, and here it is the jumps you make when you hit the logs. When the next track is loading, we get a different tune and a different loading screen to prepare you for driving at nighttime in the city.
Marks! Set! Go!
This particular map has tunnels, and it's really cool when you hear the sound change as you drive in and out of them. And in one of the tunnels you get super speed, and it kind of looks like you're driving backwards, but going really fast forward at the same time.
Checkpoint!
I always hated this next track. It's really difficult and the music fits perfectly.
Marks! Set! Go!
There is so much fog and it's hard to see. Also, the road is so narrow. In this track you have some slippery oil spills you need to watch out for. Another fun element of this game is that when you run out of time, the car doesn't stop right away. so you might still get to the checkpoint or the finish line. This is really fun when you just barely make it. The next track is the most beautiful of them all.
Marks. Set. Go.
I think the graphics here are so nice and the snow effect is just great. Also, notice the sound. It's more muffled, as it gets when you are driving on the snow. It is quite slippery, but there is no problem controlling the car. Until you hit the ice. I ran out of time. So now what? Each track has a password, so you go online, find the password for each track, and jump to the next. And from now on it starts to get really tricky to complete the tracks. This one is in the desert and there are cactuses and rocks in the middle of the road. I think this is the most boring track, so let's just skip to the next. As a kid I always failed to get this far in the game, but my brother was telling me I could drive under big trucks that were driving across the road. And the guy would then say, "Yeehaw!" And you know, as a kid, I got really excited and I really wanted to see that. Eventually, he did show this to me and I thought it was so cool. The next track has really nice autumn colors. It's wet and the water level has raised, and it floods the roads. Sometimes you can jump over the water. You can and absolutely must pick up some cool time power-ups to reach the finish line.
Extra time. Extra time.
But it's not so easy to get them all. The last track ends with thunder and rain, and the most awesome power-up. This is a super difficult track, and the rocks suddenly appear in the middle of the road, and you have little to no time to react. Speaking of little time to react, you could try to slow down, but there is no time for that. You need to speed up, and so you drive over these super cool turbo power-ups. And it's just the coolest thing.
Turbo.
It got me so excited with that voice saying turbo, and the car just accelerating to this crazy speed. If you use the cheat code Turpentine or Turpentine, you can remove this timer, and even I can complete the game.
Congratulations.
This game also has multiplayer, either via split screen or you could connect two Amigas together, and you could also have these two in split screen, so 4 players could play together. I just played it on a split screen and it was fantastic, especially because of one thing, the checkpoint sound. Because let's say I'm ahead of my friend, and I can't exactly just check where he is because everything more or less looks the same. So when I drive through a checkpoint it says
Checkpoint.
and then I'm waiting. Then I hear,
Checkpoint.
okay, so now I know there is some distance between us. But then I start to make some mistakes. I crash into some signs or some cars, I get a bit nervous, and then at the next checkpoint, first I go through, then after a short amount of time I hear checkpoint. Now he is much closer. So of course the closer he gets, the shorter time it is between each time I hear the checkpoint sound. The not knowing part of how close he is until you hear the checkpoint is just, it can create a bit of mystery or anticipation or, you know. So I love that about this game. I would, however, recommend playing against a friend instead of playing against your own feet. I am not that familiar with modern racing games, but as I've seen many times, they are too complicated.
Congratulations!
You need to drive to another place in the city to start a race, they have a story mode, you need to buy cars and put them in your garage. For me, I want racing games to be more simple. Just click start a race and off you go. I wish the focus would be more on driving in beautiful and interesting environments instead of very advanced ways of modifying your car, styling your car, having a complicated story, and so on. If you keep it simple like the old Flatout 2, then it's fine. Anyway, if you liked this video, it would be very nice of you if you click the like button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.